Hello YouTube, I just got my MacBook Air 2013 13 inch. You can see the specs right here. This is the machine. And I figured I'd try out a couple games. I'm going to try Diablo 3 and Starcraft 2. And the reason I want to make this video is because it seems like most of the people testing games on here try to run them on high, get them to somewhere in the 20 to 30 frames per second, and just go, well, it looks fine for me. For me, I can't play a game at if a game is 25 frames per second when you're just standing on some uneventful area, it's probably going to dip to 10 frames per second in the heat of it. So I wanted to show you with the settings I used how I could get Diablo 3 running without much effort. So I tinkered around with the settings a little bit. I'm running it 1024 by 640, very low resolution, which honestly on this size screen is fine for me. Maybe you see better than I do, but it's fine for me. But lowering that resolution was really crucial to get the frame rate up, and it made a big difference. Shadow quality was another thing that was really killing performance. I run it on low. You could even turn them off, but it runs pretty well this way. Alright, so I'll jump right in. Alright, right now I have the frame rate counter, which you hit Control R to turn on. It says 58 frames per second. It's essentially locked at 60 frames per second. And I can get kind of in the thick of it here. And you see the frame rate does drop. And I think the lowest I really see is like 35, but only for a second. So it's essentially running perfect, pretty much perfect, right? And this is Intel graphics, so keep that in mind. I'm trying to get to an area where there's going to be a lot of enemies. If I don't, you'll just have to trust me. Here we go. Now I'll try killing all these and... Oh, I saw a 14 for a second there, so you get little dips, but I was playing for a while and was mainly running pretty well. I mean, if you played this game and it was bothering you, you could probably turn the low FX setting on and turn shadows off entirely. You might get a little more stability. It seems to be pretty good. Alright, and if we look at the CPU, it looked like it was maxing kind of 1.5 cores, the way OS X shows CPU usage. I don't really ever see it maxing everything on Diablo 3. Alright, now the next thing I'll do is fire up Starcraft 2. Running windowed full screen mode doesn't seem to affect performance, and you do this mission control thing and switch in and out of the game really nice, which does not work if you're in regular full screen mode. Alright, I did this on the trackpad, but I just played a quick, where is it? I played a quick game with like an easy computer just to kind of get an idea of performance. And I'll just run through the replay. Alright, I got frames per second on. It's very small in the corner here. it's running at 60 right now. I run at 8x speed. It's still staying in the 50s largely. Just gonna run into this game a bit. Now, I personally am not a fan of OS X in general. This might change my mind. I haven't really used it extensively since Tiger, which is, I think, 10.4, going back quite a ways. Just a little bit of action. This is not a big macro. I will, at some point, I'll try like a big 3v3 game and see how it goes. It's me sort of lazily making not that many lings. I've seen pretty consistent frame rate throughout this whole game. Whenever I was running at normal speed, anyway. Well, faster is the default speed for multiplayer. Right here we have some action. Your frame rate is staying pretty stable. Now this is running the game at full resolution, 1440 by 900, on windowed full screen mode once again, so I can do this. And I also am using low graphics, which I use anyway. That was a recommendation by Diablo, kind of a well-known caster, and he just said it makes everything more visible. With all the effects, it's harder to see things through. Like when you got 20 voids all attacking, those laser beams get kind of big and fluffy, and it makes it hard to see everything. Whereas if you run in low, they're just kind of smaller beams. It makes everything's more visible with the effects kind of minimalized. I still run the textures at high though. This is high textures and low presets otherwise. I'll pop it open real quick. If texture quality high, everything else low, which is fine. Honestly, you might be calling sacrilege, but I run my desktop on that, which is very powerful, and I still run it on low. Honestly, if you try it, within 2 games you won't even notice it's not there. Alright, so the next thing I want to do is I want to show you, this is kind of not really useful, but I want to show you I can run both of these games at the same time reasonably well. I thought it was kind of cool how well the task switching works. Let's see, Diablo 3. There's the window. Another cool thing about the windowed full screen mode is you can hit Command M and switch between windowed and full screen at any time. Doesn't seem to bother the game too much. Now both of these games seem to run probably about 30% worse at kind of a baseline when you're running both at the same time. I'm not going to even bring up the counter because this is kind of useless, but it's fun. So I can pop this open and we have the games running in the mission control windows. Just fine. You know, we can switch between them instantly. This whole machine is really just blindingly fast, probably largely due to the SSD. And I keep accidentally zooming. Alright, let's fix that. Anybody ever watches this will probably be like, why didn't this jerk edit this video? He could have edited this video and it might have been less terrible. Don't care. Don't care. Figure no one's really showing how to run these games correctly. Which I mean anybody could figure this out really, but somebody thinking about buying a MacBook Air might not really know if these games can run at 60 frames per second, because it seems like the people casting about these games aren't even trying. I haven't really seen any videos on Team Fortress 2, but I imagine like Team Fortress 2, Left 4 Dead, those games would all probably run really well on this, as I would probably consider them to be less GPU demanding. Any game that's kind of CPU bound, like Starcraft 2, just runs really well. The Haswell seems to be pretty incredible for dual-core processor so far. So I'll do another switch. I can pop over to Chrome. I'm looking up how to show frame rate in Diablo 3. But yeah, so that'll be the end of my probably too long video. But this is the MacBook Air. Oh, fan noise. You might hear this now. It's getting very loud. It seems like in Diablo 3, even just alone, it does this. I don't think Starcraft 2 makes it really ramp up, but Diablo 3 does, and it's pretty loud. It's loud. It's not just loud for an ultrabook. It's loud for a notebook. It gets pretty loud. As far as I can tell, though, this probably is not going to happen on normal use very often. Alright, the end of the video.